money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Great card in hockey coming up with some unbelievable trends I've never seen, and streaks. I've never seen a goal in the first 10 priced this high, and there's a good reason why. We'll get to that coming up, and you cannot be serious as well. Look-ahead lines, Super Bowl, and Week 1 college football next year, and a prop I love. One prop that's too low, and another bet that I love. We'll get to an explanation listening to a podcast earlier today that we can kick around. We're joined now by Indy Jeff Sealey, our weekly appearance, to talk golf on the Progressive Guest Line. Cutmaker Jeff on X, Cutmaker Podcast, and it's back starting in a few weeks with the Waste Management Open. We're going to the Farmers Insurance Open now with Torrey Pines. He joins us now, and tell us about the course, my friend.
Yeah, guys, we're back at Torrey Pines here. We're playing the North Course and the South Course on the first 2 days. North Course is significantly easier. So they'll have a shot at an easy course and a tougher track first 2 rounds, and then there'll be the cut, and then the second 2 rounds will be at the South Course. But one important note here, they start this tomorrow, so the first 2 rounds are Wednesday and Thursday, last 2 rounds Friday and Saturday, because obviously they're not interested in competing with the NFL. Mm-hmm. So pretty smart move on their part, but we get golf a little earlier this week.
Yep, all right. So take us through the top of the board. What you think of with the favorites, and if you're going to play someone in that 10 to 20 to 1 range.
Yeah, Paul. So Ludwig Hebert is the top of the board. He and Hideki. Looking at Hebert in his last 36 events, in 11 of them, he's gained more than 5 strokes tee to green and also gained with the putter. So elite all-around game in a third of his events he's played so far as a pro. 5 inside the top 15 when he does that. 5 more inside the top 5 in a win. He did it here last year. I think he's the most talented player on tour under the age of 25. If you build a really simple model, just focusing on driving distance, long irons, and putting, the 3 things that matter the most at this course, he grades out second overall. So it's easy to make a case for Hebert this week. I think playing him top 10 at plus 110 is my favorite way to play him, but I can certainly understand if you play a little on the outright. And then in the 20 to 1 range, I played Zalatoris. Guys, I played him last week. He looked good last week. I bet him 20 to 1 at the opener. It's down to 22 at a lot of places. And I'm going to continue to bet him top 20 and a little bit on the outright on Zalatoris, especially places where he's had success like he has here. He's finished 12th, 2nd, and 7th in 3 of his last 4 Farmers. That really kind of puts him in the course horse conversation. Throw that in with back-to-back solid performances already this year. I like Zalatoris a lot, top 20, and a little bit on the outright. And then, guys, I mentioned Max Greiserman last week. Mm-hmm. He's 32 to 1 this week. And really, Paul, feels like a boom-bust play. I mean, the opportunity is really clear. He's finished inside the top 5 in 4 of his last 8 events, so he's got great form. 1 more inside the top 10. When you run the really simple model I mentioned, he actually comes out on the top of the board ahead of Hebert in that sense, but his price has drifted this week, and a lot of people are fading him. The only reason I can think that would be is because he struggled badly off the tee and with the putter last time he played here and missed the cut. He's not a great putter on Poa greens. He's an East Coast guy, grew up in New Jersey, went to Duke, lives in Florida. So sometimes that coastal variance is real, but I'm still going to bet on the talent and a guy who's in phenomenal form. I like him a lot, top 20 at plus 250. And again, I'll sprinkle a little on the outright.
Okay. Into Jeff Sealey, our guest, talking golf, Cutmaker Podcast. Follow him on X as well. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. How about another guy in the 35 to 40 to 1 range?
Yeah, Paul. So Taylor Pendrith has finished 9th and 16th here in his last 2 visits. If you look at the 3 categories, again, driving distance, I mentioned, he ranks 8th in the field in driving distance over his last 100 rounds. Putting, he's gained with the putter in 15 of his last 20 events, and he's a positive putter on POA. And with your long irons, he's ranked in the top third of the field. So since May, he has a win and 3 more top 10s. The form's not bad. He's gained tee to green in 12 of his last 15 and gained with the putter in 11 of his last 15. Solid form, solid course history. Lot to like here to 35 to 1, and I think plus 150 or so. Top 20 is great. And then we got some fun bombs this week, Paul.
Wow. I'll get to that in a second. Speaking of bombs, how'd the 16-year-old kid look to you, Blades?
He looked really. I thought he looked really well. He did himself proud. I mean, he obviously competed through 3 rounds. He didn't end up making the cut on Sunday, but he looked really good. I think he'll be competitive going forward, and I'm excited to see where he transitions to. I think he needs to get a little stronger. He's a little kind of small and skinny right now. He's obviously still got some growing to do, but I think once he spends some time in the gym and gets a little strength and experience, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So it's a great story, and I'm looking forward to watching the kid progress.
All right, how about a couple bombs to win? Top 20s, top 10s? Take it away.
So Michael Thorbjornsen is 75-1 this week. You can find at FanDuel. Again, I talked about the very simple model, and nobody's been better in that than recent form than him. He's a 23-year-old, raised in Cleveland, attended Stanford, won the U.S. Amateur a few years ago in 2018, and just began his pro career. In the last 6 months, he's only played in 8 events, and he has 3 top 10s. He's got talent. Over his last 12 rounds, he's 9th in the field in putting, 9th in long iron play, and 9th in driving distance, and 11th in the field and irons over 200 yards. So still only 23, a guy I think has got a super bright future, plus 250, top 20, and plus 500, top 10. My favorite ways to play him. And then Jake Knapp, Jake with the elite mullet, finished 3rd here last year, and he's 250-1 this week. You can find him top 20 at plus 500. I think that's a really interesting bet this year on a guy that really is very much sort of boom bust. His success and failure is linked to his iron play and putting. This time last year, he went on a heater where his irons and putting were both very good, and he had a lot of success. He took 3rd here, 28th at Waste Management, 1 in Mexico, 4th at PGA, and so on. He putted well last week. If he can find some positive putting run this week, I think the course gives him good vibes. 250-1 and 5-1 top 20. I think that's definitely worth looking at here for Jake Knapp. Super bomb, really interesting play this week.
Any other people to consider?
Yeah, guys. I mean, your local guy there. I look at Taylor Montgomery a little bit this week. I played him top 20 at plus 750, and then Hayden Springer is another guy who's got some good experience and is a good course fit. He's another guy top 20 you can find in that 5-1 range.
All right, my friend. Good luck. Enjoy Lou Anarumo, and see if the Colts can turn it around. Appreciate your time.
Can't wait. Take care, fellas.
All right,
thanks, Jeff.
Indy Jeff Sealey with the golf. Do it every week, and good luck to him, and maybe we can cash some tickets. College basketball schedule, not that deep tonight, but again, it's every SEC game, or every night it seems there's a big SEC matchup, and Alabama's laying 12 against Vandy, 168.5 the total. Mitch was right about the total Saturday. It flew over, and they beat Kentucky.
Even all the
on the
in
road.
Every in-game number went over.
Yeah. What was the highest you saw?
I saw 192.5.
Oh, God.
Everything went over.
Yeah.
You just bet it the whole game.
Yeah. Do they bounce back here after their last game? They got beat at home, and they were laying a similar number. Vandy coming off a nice win, too. Tennessee, 7.5 against Miss State, 139.5 the total. I kind of lean Tennessee in that one. But Miss State having a great year. I'll do bracketology later in the show with all these SEC teams. What's going on with your Drake team? Stubbing their toe now a little bit.
Little bit. Coming back to earth.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a couple losses.
I think Bradley's the best team in
they're
Missouri
laying
Valley.
Right? They're laying 2 against Belmont, and that's 153 tonight as well.
You know who's a great ATS team is UIC. UIC is like 15-4 or 14-5 against the spread. Take a look at them, Paul. Look at their record. I think they've covered like 11 in a row. Pretty amazing.
And Kansas finally played an over on Saturday, so that's now 15-2 to the under. Purdue's laying 10 against the Buckeyes with 141.5, and Texas is 2 against Missouri, 148.5. SMU 1.5 and 157 against Louisville, and a couple late games. The Ducks laying 12.5 against Washington, 147.5 the total. BYU 4.5 and 145 at Colorado. The get-out game, UNLV, is 9 and 134 against Wyoming. Back-to-back good wins for the Rebels. And now Joe Lunardi only has 3 teams in from the Mountain West. It's a little hairy now.
Well,
Still got the Aztecs in. The Aztecs got beat again. I don't know. They can't afford any more losses. Utah State's got a great resume.
Utah State wins all these games down at the wire.
I know.
They're very good. They cover these numbers on the road. New Mexico's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But that conference looked like maybe a 6-bid league again this year, and it hasn't panned out that way so far.
No. It'd be nuts to see what happens with the SEC if they get like 11, 12, 13 teams in.
They're deep.
Which is definitely
very
in play,
deep.
no doubt. It's excellent. We're getting ready for Big Game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber and bet smarter all year long. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the dog videos and the betting guides. VSiN.com/subscribe, promo code FTM. $59 off the annual subscription. The website, everything up there is nuts. Every time you check it out, there's so much information. Adam Burke on next year's picks for college football. You got Cohen on the NBA today, Makinen, Jonathan Davis with the NHL card. Always gives out a lot of picks. You got Peterson with college hoops. Everything's up there. Nigel with soccer. It's incredible. Everything on the website at vsin.com. Up next, we'll get to hockey. And again, we mentioned the picks from Jonathan Davis. These runs are insane with goal in the first 10. There's an all-time matchup at 4 o'clock between two teams on incredible streaks. We'll run down the card, gets Mike's thoughts on some futures, and why a game is juiced minus 220 for goal in the first 10. Hardcore hockey with some great numbers. Make you some money coming up next on Follow the Money.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
You cannot be serious with Mike Palm coming up. He will rant about what transpired over the weekend. Looking forward to that. Last week, A+ on the Minnesota Vikings. Again, a deep hockey card and a lot of streaks and trends on the line. And we'll get to Mike's best bet in a second. Your big boy is Detroit at Philly. I've never seen it this high. Goal in the first 10 at DraftKings is minus 220. Here's why. Detroit, 16 of 17 and 12 in a row. And the Flyers, 11 in a row. Goal in the first 10. Seattle, 11 in a row. Boston, 10 of 11. And as you said before the show, bam, they're happening like the first couple minutes in all these games. Chicago, 12 of 13. The Maple Leafs, 17 of 20.
You know what's funny? They're an under team too, Paul. The Leafs are an under team, but goal in the first 10.
Edmonton, 18-3 on the road. They're at home tonight. Montreal, 6 in a row on the road. Seattle, 11 in a row, but also 5 in a row on the road. Buffalo, 15-3 at home. And Rangers at home tonight, 16-4 run. Goal in the first 10 at home. These are all goal in the first 10. Ottawa is on a 10-1 under run for the game. So let's get one quick, and then let's shut it down. Ottawa's in New York. So a 10-1 under run for the game for Ottawa. Rangers 16-4 run. Goal in the first 10. But this is nuts with Detroit. 16 of 17 and the Flyers 11 in a row. Flyers also 20-4 run in road games. So there's a ton of these here that we got to keep an eye on moving forward. And jump in, they continue to cash a lot of these. And Ian Duncan does a great job updating this stuff as well. You can follow him on X, and I retweet it a lot as well. All that stuff is going the first 10. For sides, Montreal is at home, by the way. So that doesn't fit because they're road angle. So your best bet, and they've been horrible ROI. They were the kings of the offseason, but hasn't gone well on ice. But how about Nashville fading San Jose here, and your guy between the pipes?
Well, Nashville is on an extended homestand. They've won 3 in a row here at home. Last played on Saturday. Consecutive victories over the Knights, Blackhawks, and Wild. They were dominant against the Wild on Saturday night. Wild come back and win at Colorado after that. But the key here is Georgiev. Sharks played yesterday in the morning game in Boston on this road trip. Now I have to travel to Nashville on the back-to-back.
Bad spot.
Askarov yesterday, we get Georgiev. You had that stat. Georgiev in the first period.
3-20-4. Scoreless against the Islanders on Saturday. 3-20-4.
Yeah, so
paying him first period.
This is a $4. The Predators are $4. Let's lay the goal and a half with the Preds here. Minus 140 tonight. Best bet.
Goal in the first 10, $1.50. Can we get one early?
Oh.
No? You want to do that as well? I trust you, though.
It's not on your sheet. Your sheet, you got all these on your sheet. You got to pick somebody on your sheet, I think, Paul.
See if you still liked it. Nashville, lay the puck in a goal and a half. Best bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. Limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now. VSiN.com/G-Bank. VSiN.com/G-Bank. Subject to credit approval. How about the big one at Edmonton? Edmonton $1.35 against Washington, who's playing great hockey.
Washington has been the surprise story
No
of
doubt.
the NHL to me. How well they've played. Both goalies have been very solid between the pipes. They went that month where they didn't have Ovechkin, and they've hung right in there. They're competitive in all these games. So yeah, that's the featured matchup on the card tonight, Paul. We had some people sweating hockey last night during this national championship games. That game in Chicago.
That was wild.
Wild game. People were screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
There's a timeout in the game. They were all sweating. They were all sweating the Hurricanes is what they were sweating in that spot.
Pittsburgh got there too.
Oh, they dominated in L.A.
Yeah, goal in the first 10 didn't cash, but the first period went over. But this Blackhawks thing's crazy with first period overs and goal in the first 10, what they're doing. Very disappointed in Vancouver. They were $1.65 against the Sabres. Vancouver would be out today if the playoffs started. They're behind Calgary. They're probably going to get caught by the Blues, but bad job by Vancouver this year. And Tampa's $1.30 in Montreal as well. Here at Circa, Red Wings Flyers goal in the first 10's only $1.45. How about that?
$2.20.
Yeah. Good job,
Reasonable.
Mike.
Very reasonable.
Yeah, sure.
Junkyard Dog. He's a reasonable guy.
He is. Absolutely. That's great. Who do you think the best team in hockey is?
I still think Florida is. I think they were the best team probably the last 3 years. They get beat by the Knights, and they win it last year in a great final. They're really good. They're good on the road. You're probably going to have to beat them to win it all. I think the West is pretty wide open. Knights come back. They lose in overtime, but score 2 goals in the last 3 minutes to gain a point there against the Blues. But they've been shaky the last 5 or 6 games.
Some bad home
They were
losses.
quietly 27-9, and now they've hit a little rough patch of ice.
You recommend any futures?
I don't know right now. This Montreal team has been very interesting. They went on the road. They beat Florida. They beat Tampa Bay. They beat Colorado on the road. I think Montreal is interesting as a team on a yes to make the playoffs. You know, they're in the borderline of the playoffs. I'm not looking for them to win a cup or to win a division or to win a conference. But I think Montreal is a very interesting team here with the young goaltending. Very fast, Paul. They're very fast. They give certain teams trouble. Really good skaters. So that's the only thing. I've been talking about Ottawa for a couple years. The Senators definitely going to be a playoff team this year.
What a run with the unders.
Yeah.
Wow. 10 of 11. Yeah, you think
it's backup goaltender, too, that just came in. Mm-hmm. And Montreal has another one, the young kid that has only made about 3 or 4 starts that's been terrific here. If I was going to take a little price shot in the East here, I might take it on the Leafs. I think they're playing really well under Berube. And Joseph Wall's been terrific. And they've done it without Matthews, mostly.
Yeah. All right. So there it is. Good hockey card and all the numbers. Red Wings, 16 of 17. Flyers, 11 in a row. Seattle, 11 in a row. Boston, 10 of 11. Chicago, 12 of 13. Maple Leafs, 17 of 20. And Edmonton, 18 and 3 on the road. Rangers, 16 and 4 at home. Those are all goal in the first 10 streaks. And thanks to the listeners for always putting that together and updated. Short card tonight in the NBA. And 4 of the games have huge favorites. Heat are 11 against Portland. The Butler saga drags on. Can't get involved with anything with the Heat. Knicks 11.5 against the Nets. This is a TNT game, my God. But always, and I buried the lead earlier, always vsin.com, fire up the prop analyzer. It's incredible. It's the best thing we have. Everything just pops right up there. NFL and NBA. You'll find Bridges for the Knicks, 31 and 13 underrun on his rebounds. KCP for the Magic, 27-11 under run with his rebounds. Barrett for the Raptors, 23-11 run on his rebounds. And Claxton for the Nets, 18-8 run under on his rebounds. Magic are 1-2, 14.5 in Toronto. And Denver is laying, this is the other game, the TNT game. The Nuggets are laying 13.5 and 230 against the Sixers. And guess who's out again? No Embiid. So he's only played 2 times. The 76ers played the Nuggets today, no Embiid. The last time Embiid played in Denver, Brady was the Patriots quarterback. Todd Gurley was still on the Rams. Beal averaged 30 points a game. Tiger King and The Last Dance weren't out yet. This guy just avoids Joker at all costs. And he's only played there twice in the last 11 years, I think it is. So, no Embiid again, which brings me to this. I recommended this and bet this about a week ago. The Sixers were $1.40 to miss the playoffs. That's like $2 now. But it's mispriced because they're up against it. And again, the guy has played 13 games this year. 13! He's due $60 million at the back end of this contract. Paul George has been horrendous. Maxey's been down this year, but George has been horrendous, and they gave him a max deal. So you're stuck with 3.5 more years of George. So they were just waiting to have a poor road trip and then just say, okay, well, let's just keep our pick, and then we'll be okay and focus on the future. But this is still mispriced. But the only thing that's helping them out here is the Bulls continue to bleep the bed. The Bulls keep losing. They had the big one in Los Angeles last night. But you look, they're 2.5 games behind Chicago for the 10 seed. So if they're going to focus on the 11, they're just going to punt on the season, and they were going to do that. But then the Bulls ripped off a 5-game losing streak. They lost at home to New Orleans. They lost at home to Atlanta, didn't play anybody. And they lost at home to Charlotte, and they went to Portland and got drilled before the win last night. They continue, they're in Golden State Thursday and then come home for a couple home games as well. But the Sixers are 15-26. And they know with all these guys out and Embiid doesn't play out, Denver, Cleveland, Chicago, LA, Sacramento, Denver, Boston, Dallas, Miami. You tie up your money for a couple months, okay? This is mispriced. They're going to miss the playoffs, and they want to just stay the hell with it, and we'll focus on the future. That's how bad things are, and Embiid can't stay healthy with the knee, and they're going to fall out of it here, and they'll be well back of the Bulls, fingers crossed, in the next couple weeks. You cannot be serious straight ahead. Mike Palm will cook coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, we do it every week. It's time to let Mike Palm cook. A+ last week. Let's see if he can deliver again. Time for You Cannot Be Serious. Hit him, Maestro.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Crank it up.
All right, let's go in chronological order here, Paul. You know who's become the biggest clown of all is this Mick Cronin with UCLA with the rants after the games. They lose a game 2 weeks ago. He comes into the press conference ranting and raving about the team, no energy. He's sick of all of them. They're delusional. They're better than they think they're better than they are. The assistant coaches, nobody gives more energy than me. I'm 53. I've got almost 500 wins. What do I have left to prove? Every game it's a rant. My buddies all liked Iowa. Got to get to Iowa with 7 Friday night. Iowa with 7 at UCLA. I said, forget Iowa. Bet the over. 150 in an Iowa game. Of course, UCLA crushes them. 94-70. Flew over. UCLA covered easy. Nice press conference coming out of Mick Cronin. Oh, no. Somebody asked him about the travel. You feel bad for Iowa. Come out here and get beat by USC and UCLA. He says, are you kidding me? Are you serious with the question? The Big Ten teams get to spend 3 days in 70-degree weather? You feel sorry for them? We got to go see the Capitol building. We got to go see this, that. The guy has lost his mind. He's completely gone off the deep end here. Yep. He's begging to get fired. Administrators at UCLA.
You cannot be serious.
All right, let's get to the NFL now. Same old, same old, same old, same old. Now, I will caution everyone when you're handicapping referee crews in the playoffs, they're mixed crews. It's not one person's crew. It's not Ron Torbert and his whole crew. It's Ron Torbert and 2 guys from his crew and 3 guys from one crew and 1 guy from another crew. But Clay Martin's crew had the game in Kansas City on Saturday between the Texans and the Chiefs. And don't blame this mixed crew. This was Clay Martin himself, the head referee that threw both those flags. First quarter, 7 minutes ago, it's 3-3. They stopped the Chiefs on 3rd down, incomplete pass. Here it comes, roughing on Will Anderson. What did he do? Bump chest with him?
Yeah.
15-yard penalty, kick a field goal, Chiefs go up 6-3. Then, even more egregious in the 3rd quarter. Texans had cut it to 13-12. Holmes fumbles the snap, runs around and flops down. 2 Texans nail each other. Fatukasi and Tuatu hit each other. 15 yards.
That's
15-yard penalty. That's when Aikman went off. He lost
come
it.
on!
He lost it about this nonsense with Mahomes. Again, Clay Martin behind the play, throws the play, boom, touchdown, game over. That's it. It's such an unfair competitive advantage for Kansas City. Every time he gets touched, there's going to be a penalty. Other guys can get clocked, Hurts can get nailed, Goff can get hit.
Lamar tackled out of bounds.
Oh, I mean, well, they started the tackle inbounds. Then you can take it as far as you want.
Yeah, right.
Clay Martin.
You cannot be serious.
All right, the new Papa Bear here, Ben Johnson, greatest play caller, obsessed with all his trick plays, falling down here when you're up 30, trying to stick it into the Bears, recording a tackle eligible before you take a knee. How about when you're in trouble? You're number 1 seed, now you're in trouble. The Commanders are going up and down the field. You're down 10 in the 3rd quarter, biggest drive of the season, and you're going to entrust it to Jameson Williams. You're going to let this wackadoo throw the ball. I mean, Jameson Williams makes George Pickens look like a guy you should have the godfather for your child. This guy's in trouble every step of the way. He just scored a touchdown on that end around. He was humping the end zone. I mean, what? The guy's out of his mind, and this is who you're going to put your hands in? Of course, he throws the interception. Commanders score 45-28. Goodbye, your 15-win season. Goodbye, Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson.
You cannot be serious.
Now, if you're the Rams, when you met in SoFi, you let Saquon run for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. What would be the focus of your defense going into this divisional round here? Anybody but Saquon's going to beat us. You must make Hurts beat you. You must contain Hurts on the ground and through the air. And yet in the first quarter, Saquon rips off a 62-yard touchdown run to make it 13-7. And then with the season on the line in the 4th quarter with 4.5 minutes to go, it's Saquon time. Of course it is. Handed off, untouched, 78 yards down the sideline in the snow. Easy. Goes for another 200 yards. Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula.
You cannot be serious.
All right, I have to put Freeman in here. This is probably the least egregious of all of them. But 9:30 to go and 4th and goal from the 9-yard line, and you're down 16. I get it. He doesn't like his play calls on 4th and 9. If it was 4th and 5, it'd be different.
Risso's right, though. How do you not have a play?
How do you not have a play? How do you not have a play for 4th and 15?
Come on.
But if you kick the field goal and cut it to 13, you still must stop Ohio State 2 more times. The only time they had stopped Ohio State to that point was the fumble by Ibuka. The only time. A holding call resulted in a field goal instead of a touchdown. Every other drive was a touchdown outside of the fumble and the holding call. You'd have to stop them twice. They did it once, the only time of the game. The second time, they couldn't get it done. Marcus Freeman.
You cannot be serious.
This is bigger, what I'm about to tell you now. Go back and look at the tape. Ohio State gets the initial first down on the Will Howard run, and there's a Notre Dame injury. So they stop the clock with 30 on the play clock with 3:05 to go. They start the clock back up. Will Howard's got all his linemen down in their stance. Pull them out of their stance. Let the clock run. They snap the ball with 15 to go on the play clock with a running clock at 2:52. Go back and watch it. It's unconscionable. Will Howard and Chip Kelly.
You cannot be serious.
It's 3rd and 11 in the biggest play of the season for Notre Dame. You must stop Ohio State to get the ball back down 8. Don't you put 6 guys 10 yards down the field and try to tackle them? Don't you do that? You really need to rush 7 and go one-on-one with these wide receivers. I think it's a questionable play call. Just like when against Ohio State when you were still a nickel when they were down on the goal line at the end of the game there. And then you had 10 men on the field on the last play of the game. Al Golden.
You cannot be serious.
Now let's get to the 2 most serious things of the week. After the game, now these are massive complexes like the Superdome. These teams have to be transported from one place to the other to do all the different press interviews. And usually they do that by a golf cart. Can we go to the footage here of this young lady who was assigned to drive the team around here with this large golf cart? She backs it up. Just a little bit off on the angle here. I tried to find out this woman's name. It's impossible to find out her name. The best part is she backs it up again. They already blew the right axle.
Oh, she blew it.
Look at Ryan Day. The right axle's already crushed. She's trying to throw it in reverse. The golf cart was completely out of commission. They had to walk to the press interview.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is she going so fast?
Think about this. On all the blizzards in the south today. You see New Orleans, all the way to Florida.
Yep.
Drivers south of the Mason-Dixon line.
You cannot be serious.
This makes no sense. They got Travis Scott there in Atlanta. I'm all hyped for the halftime show, Paul. There he is on the sidelines. On Christmas Day, for one of the worst games of the year, Ravens at Texans, we had Beyonce for 13 minutes.
Damn right.
13 minutes she performed. Now, some said it was all hat and no cattle, but for 13 minutes she rolled down that partition. Here we go. Travis Scott. It's Atlanta. It's the national championship game. They come back from a commercial and show 75 seconds of his new video. Are you serious? Did they think this was the Astro World Festival where the Notre Dame fans going to hurl themselves to their death, crush themselves against a wall? What are you thinking about? Terrible production. Walt Disney.
You cannot be serious.
There you go, Paul. Biggest offense of the weekend.
God, very good. Oh, just show a clip. Incredible.
How about Beyonce? She did a full concert in that game.
It was great.
It was
I know.
awesome. Yeah.
I know. Ready to try something different? Sign up. Start playing the ponies on First Bet. First Bet U.S. based, offering wagering on hundreds of races every day across the country and around the world. Sign up firstbet.com. Promo code VSIN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today. I'm pissed off. I've had enough. I think everyone's had enough as well. I mean, it's just, Aikman was pissed. It's ridiculous. So Warren Sharp went back and looked at this from ESPN. In the last 4 years, the Chiefs have had 11 playoff games. 0 times they had more penalties. 10 out of the 11, the opponents had more penalties. I mean, it's outrageous. You can tackle Lamar out of bounds. You can pop Goff in the kisser. Nothing. And then if you don't even touch Mahomes, if it looks bad, like Anderson or the friendly fire, it's a flag. And then to make matters worse, he's out there like a soccer player, embellishing and acting like Harden, whether he's flopping or how he's dancing and just slowing down on the sideline, what he did. And because he also got the call and screwed with the 49ers where it looked like he was going to go out, and he ran back in because you can't touch him. It's ridiculous.
And then I want you to put some perspective on it. The one time a questionable call went against him, when Tony lined up offense offsides, he went nuts.
He did.
He screamed at that poor 80-year-old man on the sidelines for 3 minutes. Called him everything but a white man. Right? And they get every break. It's ridiculous. He's a great quarterback. Reed's a great head coach, but they can't get every break in the world on top of it. Think if you gave Danny Hurley every call, he'd still lose his mind.
Yeah. Some interesting penalty differentials that stand out during Kansas City's last 4 postseasons. 7 roughing the passer on opponents. 1 on the Chiefs. 4 unnecessary roughness on the opponents. 1 on the Chiefs. 11 defensive PIs or defensive holding on the opponents. 2 on Kansas City. This is outrageous. It's outrageous. And you got Ryans and Anderson saying it's us against the officials and us against the world. I mean, it's just a horrible look. And it continues. Unbelievable. I will focus on the Chiefs on the field with some good updated Super Bowl numbers, and I'm going to put you on a prop after this breakdown coming up next. Sirius XM Channel 186. Follow the money.
This is Follow the Money on VSIN.
Get the VSIN Watch app. Check us out, vsin.com. Sirius XM Channel 158 coming to you live from Circa. Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, CEO of Circa, Derek Stevens at 3:30 Pacific. His usual spot. Get his thoughts on what happened with the weekend. Wild with 3 of the games coming close to the number, landing on the number. What happened, what was going on all week as well, and his thoughts on Super Bowl squares and what happened with Netflix. He'll have an interesting comment on that as well. Get back to college football as well. Week 1 lines out for next year. Let me put you on I'll get some news here. Looks like McDaniels will be the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. And the other one, O'Connell signed an extension with the Vikings. The idea is Glenn is going to be locked down by the Jets and be the next head coach. Schottenheimer's as high as $250 to be the next Cowboys coach. That I cannot believe. And even humans clapping back at Herb Street with the footage, Herb Street crying after the game about what Ohio State had to go through and come back from. I mean, that was a lot of people taking shots at Herb Street. And humans saying that they had a $20 million payroll. There was a ton of talent on that team. It's like Tony Rizzo said earlier. It's about time they played like that. Where was that all year? They almost lost to Nebraska.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah.
They got very lucky in that game.
They were.
And your boy Ryan Day should have got a couple unsportsmanlike
That's right.
conduct penalties, and they never threw the flag on him. He was out on the field. He was touching the official.
Mm-hmm. So props are up already at DraftKings and some other places. Let's get out in front of this before it moves. So Mitch was on this all weekend and pointed out on Friday the success that Kelsey's had, and he becomes a different player in the playoffs, and then the friendship and the camaraderie there with Mahomes, because he didn't do much in the regular season. Then he just goes off in the playoffs, and he delivered again. He was 7-1 here at Circuit to have 100 yards, and he's the big reason they won the game. I could not believe, number one, they couldn't move the ball. Number two, no Brown, no Hopkins, no Schuster. They're throwing, and the game was on NFL Network again today, the replay. It's like he's running slow motion. Then he catches the ball, and he's, on the long run, he breaks 2 tackles. He's not even moving fast. I can't believe it. The 3rd and 7 play. Like, Aikman, I can't believe it. He's wide open, Joe. And there he is. It's nuts.
I saw a video on Twitter somebody posted. It was LaRusse in the last years trying to run out for an argument going about 3 miles an hour and said Kelsey in the open field.
I know. How slow is he? He's breaking tackles. I couldn't believe it. Oh, man, it's infuriating, this Kansas City crap. But so here, he's 69.5 at DraftKings, and that's the highest number for the AFC title game. Here's Kelsey in his last 4 AFC championship games. 11 for 116 and a score. 7 for 78 and a touchdown. 10 for 95 and a touchdown. 13 for 118 and 2 scores. Did nothing in the first meeting in the regular season. He's the favorite to have the most receiving yards in the game, and he's 69.5, and his receptions are 6.5, Maestro. So let's take Kelsey over 69.5, as he's going to probably have a big game against the Bills and be the only guy that Mahomes looks to in the AFC title game, much like what happened on Saturday, and he had 100 yards again. Those are incredible numbers. His postseason history and what he's done in the last 4 AFC title games. And it's just the same thing where you think, well, they kept him in the garage, didn't need him a lot in the regular season. And out he comes, right? Take him for a spin, and like he did last week, as he lit up the Texans and had a big game, and as I mentioned, that big price to cash 100 yards.
Well, if not him, who? I mean, that's who he goes to, unless you can really establish the run with Pacheco.
They couldn't run the ball either.
I thought Pacheco was going to have a big game.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
No.
Right. And he only took 1 deep shot to Brown, should have caught it, and that was it. I mean, it's crazy they win the game like that, and that's what happens, and it's just thrown to Kelsey, where you know what's going to go, and they still don't have an answer for it. So 69.5 with his props. Some other cool props that are up. Every team to kick a field goal. Remember it cashed last week, even money. Every team to have a passing touchdown, plus 125. Every team to have a rushing touchdown, plus 250. Each team to have a touchdown and a field goal, plus 175. Each team to have 2 field goals, 12-1. Each team to score 2 touchdowns, plus 125. Some other ones, Kincaid is only 34.5. You know how bad the Chiefs are at covering tight ends. Schultz had 4 for 63 in the game Saturday. I think Kincaid goes over 34.5. Knox is low, too. And McLaurin is plus 210 to have the most receiving yards in the NFC title game. I think that's a pretty good price. I think he can have a big game. I don't know what to do with A.J. Brown. I don't know what to do with that Philadelphia passing attack. Barkley is minus $6 to have the most rushing yards in the game. It seems light after what? Because Daniels is the second choice But what do you think there about? Are you concerned with the Philadelphia passing attack and Hurts banged up and it's not clicking right now and Brown drops the touchdown in the second quarter?
Yeah, so I only bet one prop bet this weekend. It was Hurts rushing yards over 33.5, and he hit it on that first run for the touchdown. I was just worried about the Rams' pass rush. I thought he'd be able to scramble. I didn't know they'd do so many design runs for him. They sure did in the first half. They had him as part of the running game here.
We got to be careful, too, because of the concussion. Yeah. You got the concussion and the knee. But I like what the design stuff they did, just slide and get down early, right? It
was very effective.
Yeah.
Very effective.
Yeah, but it was weird with the head-to-head that it was a close game on that Thursday night. Barkley went nuts in the second half in a late garbage touchdown by Washington, which was important. And then what happened in the last meeting where Hurts got the concussion, but 5 turnovers and 5 touchdowns for Daniels. And if Smith catches that ball, Philadelphia wins, and they may be the 1 seed. Okay, the look-ahead lines now to the Super Bowl and the matchups. These are up at DraftKings. The Westgate has them as well. At DK, Commanders, Chiefs. What's your favorite matchup? What do you want to see the most? Let me start there before I get the numbers here. Bills, anybody?
I would rather see Bills, Eagles. It would be my favorite matchup.
Okay.
Because I think it's a dead pick'em game. I think that's a toss-up game.
And it's great that you'd have the Bills back in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City stuff, I mean, here we go again, right?
Well, they haven't been able to overcome the 13 seconds.
Yeah. That's why I got to take the Chiefs, too, based on the history, and then he finds a way, and you got to beat the officials as well. Commanders, Chiefs. Chiefs would be 5.5 and 49.5. That's a high total. But that's also, Spags is going to blitz once they park the bus. I mean,
you know the Chiefs haven't scored 30 points in the game yet this year.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so if you think they're going to win, you're looking at 28-22. So, I mean, I guess that's the highest possible outcome if they don't score 30 to get to 50.
Yep, Commanders, Bills 4.5, 53.5. This would be the most entertaining game. This could be crazy if this was the matchup. Maybe it could be Buffalo-Detroit Part 2, something like that. Can anyone slow down the Commanders? See if the weather and the Eagles can get it done Sunday. Eagles, Bills. Bills 1.5, 49.5. Eagles, Chiefs. Chiefs 1.5, 46.5. I would take the Eagles in the under there. I think that's a good matchup for Philly. And then a rematch of what happened a couple of years ago. That was a crazy Super Bowl. Going up and down the field.
First of all, they were up 10 when Hurts fumbled.
Yep, that was a huge fumble.
They were in control of the game.
Midfield, yes. That's right. They were. And then they couldn't get a stop in the second half. And then the big flag was the correct call again. But KC gets every break and then a big flag, and they end up winning the game and putting it away. But I would like the Eagles in that matchup. Eagles-Bills, what do you think? That is a tough game.
That's a tough game. Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you, though. Eagles-Chiefs under 46.5.
Yeah. That's too high. And a great Kansas City defense. But Sunday would be a good test to see, what they can do offensively. It's been a nice close, a nice job by the Bills in the playoffs, but can they get a stop when you need it? Because Baltimore went right down the field and Baltimore beat themselves. You disagree with the sentiment that Baltimore was much the best there?
No, I don't think they were much the best. I thought the Bills played a good game. I don't know why Baltimore got away from Henry. I thought he's a much more secure, safe way of attacking than when you're talking about they had turnover issues. I also think that Bass 52-yard field goal was a huge kick in that weather.
Sure, I'm surprised
I'm surprised he tried it.
I am too.
Right, and
he
nailed
the under.
And he nailed it.
Yeah, I know that was
huge.
Big.
That was huge.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now live 24/7, Sirius XM channel 158. Whether you're at home, on the road, or on the go, there's more ways than ever to tune into VSiN. Stream us live, VSiN.com, the VSiN Watch app, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio, Fire TV, Roku, and now Sirius XM. Great to be back on Sirius XM channel 158. Up next, we'll get back to college football. Week 1 lines are out. The top non-conference matchups, and a lot of them early, August 30th off the bat. The look ahead to the top 25 as well, and the numbers here at Circa about who's the favorite, and a little recap of what happened last night as well. Great comeback by the Irish, but they fall short again, and Ohio State wins and covers with the big field goal to put it on 11. We'll run all that down coming up next with some interesting numbers, and number 1 likely to play number 2 to start the season, August 30th on VSiN. Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network.